So I've been noticing there's at least two defects on the new 4Runner that I've been noticing on 4Runners from 2020 up, and I'll go over them really quickly here. The first issue is the rear garnish is destroying your rear hatch paint, particularly in the corners here and here. And what basically is happening is this corner trim piece right here is rubbing into the paint and actually damaging it. Now, I've already taken it to Toyota and had it repaired, but the repairs has already failed. This piece of trim here has already damaged the paint. I tried contacting Toyota about it. They've been silent on the issue, and I guess I have to fix this on my own now because they're doing nothing about it. But what I figured I can do, and what you should do if you have the similar issue where this piece of trim is so butt up close to the paint that it damages it, is one, remove the garnish and put a piece of PPF, so that way when the trim does rub on the hatch here, it'll rub on the PPF instead of directly on the paint. Second, since there is a bolt right here, you can probably make a small washer or shim to lift the garnish up off the bodywork so it doesn't rub anymore. It's kind of unfortunate that you or I will have to repair it ourselves, but that's just the case of the matter. It should be a simple fix, just although a little bit maybe time consuming because you do have to tear off all the hatch trim off and remove the garnish on your own. I've been kind of lazy about it, but that's something to look for. I will post some photos of examples of other 4Runners that has the same issue. It seems to be widespread. I don't know what Toyota is basically doing nothing unless you bring it up with them, but yeah. The second issue is the rear wiper blade. What I've also been noticing is the blade will be missing up on the top here and on the bottom. And what will happen is the blade won't actually touch the rear window. And what the fix I found was to remove the blade and take the metal strips out of it and bend them and curve them to form the rear window curve. I don't know if you can see on camera, but I've already bent it once. It's still missing a little bit, you can see here, but I bent it again and I think it should work now, because after you bend the metal strips that hold the blade, you'll curve the blade into the windshield, into the window, so we'll actually wipe against it instead of having it flat. I'll post some photos of the before shots. And this is what it looks like after. It's curving and actually touching the glass now, so hopefully that will be resolved. In the next part of the video, I'll show you how to curve these metal strips so your rear window wiper will actually wipe the entire window instead of like skipping a whole like 2 inches on the bottom and like an inch on the top. Okay. So using a piece of cardboard as an example of in lieu of the metal strips, you might find those strips are like pretty flat and straight with like no curvature to all. What you want to do to fix your rear wiper blade is introduce a bit of curvature into the blade so it sits nice and flush with the back window. What you can do is place your thumbs on the sheet of metal like this, your pointer fingers here, and just gently bend the metal into the curve, shuffling across every so inch back and forth just to introduce a curve into the strip of metal, to introduce a bit of tension to the rubber piece so it'll sit nice and flush with the rear window. So when you look at it now, it has a nice curve. You want a similar curve to the to your metal strip. This is a piece of cardboard. It's a lot easier to work with, but with the piece of metal, you just want to put enough pressure till you feel it bend. You can always check your work by looking at it straight on, making sure there's a nice curve into it. You want to do that with both metal strips. So when you reinstall it, the blade will have a nice curve to it, and so it won't be sitting like directly flat anymore and missing the rear window. Hope that helps, and good luck with your repair.